How is everyone doing today? It is April 30th, closing the month out over here of 2022. Just wanted to put that up real quick. UT and Angel and Kiddo here. We haven't had a video in a couple weeks, but I really wanted to chime in and say hi as we close out April. We are super busy over here, putting in tons and tons of work to prepare for the yard. April for us is a nutrition month. We got to just maintain what plants we have. We give out a lot of plants to friends and family that have greenhouses and things like that they can kind of get them in the ground a little bit earlier and protect them. I'm going to show a lot more on the yard. I will try not to talk too much about the yard. I want to do my last indoor update of the grow season, but just wanted to show everybody what it looked like out here. Got all this cleared off to put the bins out. We'll be hardening off a lot of plants. I'll show a lot more on the yard coming up, but I just wanted to jump on and show everybody the state of the yard. It's a big work in progress. May is going to be a huge month for us. The danger of our last frost says at least the 21st. I've seen some say the 28th of May. So we're supposed to wait 3 weeks into May. We don't have the best protections for the plants, but we're really motivated and ready to go. So we're going to, starting in May, every day that's positive for us, we'll be moving the plants out to harden off and also relaying them into the ground as soon as possible. As you'll see in just a second, our indoor is flooded, but it is April 30th of 2022 and finishing out the Fool's Month. We'll catch you guys in just a second. Love you guys. All right, let's start this off with the little greenhouse. This is our seed starting shelf. The bottom shelf down here we don't use for anything really other than some of our seed starting supplies and stuff. We've actually been able to remove the heat mats. This is dwarf tomatoes. There's 3 in each. Dwarf variety tomatoes, a whole bunch. I think we planted 8 total if you count the Berry's Crazy Cherry, but they are needing transplanted and upgraded, and starting to get some of this stuff into the yard will give them more room on the grow shelves. But those are dwarf tomato varieties. These are some of our backups. That's the biggest ones, the one back here, the one right here. It's the Cherokee Purple and Carbon. So we might get rid of the Cherokee Purple that we already have started really well and go with those 2 in the center of the yard. We really need to fire those off quick though. I need to fill in the soil a little bit at the bottom of those, but those are some of the larger variety tomatoes that are relayed in after we got up potted in order to try to make sure we had some extras near the end just in case we don't survive the fight out into the yard in May and something else needs put in there. So that's some more tomato types. They're starting to hit the light here. They really need to be less crowded. Here is our tomato tray, or our pepper tray. A bunch of those need up potted too. So these ones might be a situation where they are just too advanced and time's too short, so we need to make sure that they move into the yard straight from here. Like that one right there, I think that would be a good one just to plant straight out. A lot of them have been topped already and they're starting to get second shoots and they just can't handle being in the greenhouse any longer. So we're really wanting to up pot, move into the yard, and kind of clear this out. That is some sour gherkins. I think they also call them cucamelon. I didn't expect them to be so thin and wispy, but I have to keep on coming in here often and controlling these guys. Yeah, I'll fix that later. The 6 on the outside are 2 seeds each of dragonade cucumbers, and the middle one is the jelly melon. I think guano melon, maybe they call it. The African horned cucumber is in the middle one there. So it hasn't sprouted up yet, and you can't really see. I had to cover some dirt in here because I was worried that they weren't breaking through from their shells. I think we planted them a little too shallow, but they are pretty much all sprouting, even under this one right here. That is Tom Thumb lettuce in little tiny shot glasses. I bet you every 3 days I trim this, get a giant bowl of lettuce, and it just comes right back, all from this little teeny thing of soil. So those might be planted straight out into the yard. I need to trim them down though. So that's our little greenhouse and what we have growing in there. Next I'll show you guys our grow shelves. We start our seeds in here. Up them to this cup method here, double cup method, with shoe boxes and stuff, and then they go to the shelf here. We've had to extend these lights up higher on these. Out of the types of tomatoes that we planted 16, I think, different types. The 5 that didn't make it to the yard, no, we planted 17 types. The 5 that we've taken out and given away that won't be making the yard this year is the Black Crim, the Ava Purple Ball, the Black Trifle, the Black Brandywine, and one other. And I can't remember what the 5th kind was, but I know that we've cut 5 from the yard so far. Those are the ones that won't be making it out into the yard. Anybody that was super excited to see those. We've grown those ones before. I want to give the Carbon a try next to the Cherokee Purple. And don't have a lot of room. Our yard's pretty small. These are dwarf tomatoes that have been up potted, and that's what needs to happen to the other ones, is they need to be up potted like this so that we can strengthen them a little bit. A couple of them we can give away because the market vendors will do this spreading them out way that they can still use them without having to separate them or put them into the cups. But for us, we want to get them individualized and in the cups and establishing roots, and we have about 2 weeks to do so on these ones. And this is our Tiny Tim. And this is a Tiny Tim. And these are Minabelle. They're dwarf or micro-sized tomato plants. We have had both of these. We have a Minabelle that's in our little bathroom right now that's been about 2 years old now. And we have tried the Minabelle and the Tiny Tim. We think the Minabelle tastes better, but the Tiny Tim plant's a lot stronger. And as you can see here, the Tiny Tims are growing a lot bigger. I know some people are growing the Tiny Tims, and some people have even tried this one before, but it's a couple really, really productive, nice little plants here. So Tiny Tim and Minabelle and some more dwarf varieties. We'll show a lot more on these individualized as we try to do our tomato and pepper videos throughout the year. That's mostly what we grow, but we like to grow all sorts of things that we have room for. This is our peppers. You can tell those ones are Buena Mulata, but we got them in like an 8-pack method, and I'm not quite sure if I like that one yet. This is some more peppers. You can see the variegated leaves on the fish pepper. These ones started to get sun hit a little bit when we had them out in the sun for a little bit too long, but they're recovering really, really nicely. If a leaf starts getting too yellow, I'll just kind of pull it off. All of our peppers, if you notice too, are topped. Once they hit a certain height, once they get about 4 to 6 leaves, or they start just getting too leggy, we'll do it with 2 leaves and stuff. As long as they're getting enough light, even on the stem, we could probably take all the leaves off and they would get new growth. You can see that this one here was topped. So big fans of topping the peppers over here. It'll get it. Not only, even if you're not a fan of topping peppers, if you are trying to grow indoors on minimum space, you can buy yourself some time. It's not going to hurt the pepper. So if you have an argument that maybe it doesn't help the pepper, and you know what I mean, for us personally, it buys us a couple weeks on top of, you know, producing a stronger plant. But we're big fans of topping peppers over here. And this is the one that was Buena Mulata seeds from last year that crossed with something else, and I am completely unsure what it crossed with, and I'm not sure how well it shows up in the camera. But it looks like glass. The leaves look like glass. And I looked, and there is a little bit of flowers underneath, but I don't think this plant's going to get higher than 3 inches tall. Maybe 3 inches wide. It's going to be a super, super small plant. Probably the most exciting pepper I've started this year so far. And I have a lot of really unique varieties I've never seen before I'm excited about. But this one right here, it's just so bizarre. I'm not sure what it crossed with. I don't think it's producing anything that's super productive, but it does have some flowers under there. But got our pepper bins. They only go out when it's really, really warm outside. And got our tomato bins. Got our next ones that are needing upgraded, and that's the little greenhouse and the grow shelf. So catch you guys in just a second. All right, so next up is our little bathroom. It's looks bigger on camera than it actually is. It's like you have to crowd to get through the doorway here. But here we go. I'll just try to name everything we have off. These are some more tomato plants, some of the large varieties. They have gotten too high for the grow shelves, and really, really needing planted. They got leggy on us. We're not too worried about that. We'll basically plant right up the stem though, because the little hairs right there will form roots. So we'll plant all the way up the stem. When you imagine this in the ground, imagine it like from the ground here up. And that's what it'll kind of look at. So we'll dig these a little bit deeper, get the stems way up there, and then make sure that these turn out to be strong plants. These are some of our front runners out of the 12 major ones that are going in the yard. I think we're trying to put 12 heirloom unique varieties of giant tomato plants in our yard, and then we're trying to go with 8 different dwarf or smaller varieties of tomato. Back here's an ornamental pepper. That one is the sangria. It's got a little pepper on it. This one's the Medusa. This one is the Prairie Fire. And this one is the Explosive Ember. 4 ornamentals. We'll probably be putting ornamentals out in the yard first into a bucket, and then trying to protect them and stuff like that. But they are producing. They're doing a great job here in the bathroom. Ginger, I think we'll give one away and we'll plant all 3 of those. It was about a $5 or $6 piece of ginger. And we've probably given away 5 or 6 already. And kept 4 pieces for ourselves. And these 4 pieces have multiple shoots coming out. So we always, ginger can be a long grow, so we always try to start it as early as possible. And we're going to try this in a grow bag this year. See how that turns out. I think we did it in a bucket last year and it still did pretty good. We got ginger from it. It did better than our sweet potatoes that were in the grow bag. But really, really fun and a rewarding grow. It's cool. We put them in a little bit of water, the piece of ginger we buy from the store, and wait till it kind of gets a little bit of rooting and little nubs on it and stuff. But I think there's a lot of videos on that if you want to see how to start ginger inside early. So you have time to get a good harvest from it if you're in a cold zone, mid zone down, 6 and down. More sweet potatoes. Always more sweet potatoes. 2 potatoes, probably each of them probably put off 30 shoots already. And we have a bunch more on this one, a bunch more on this one. And a cup of 4 or 5 here. And a couple more in a small glass here. And we'll just keep breaking them off and putting them in the water and letting them root, and over and over and over again. I bet you we've given away 50, 60 plants off of those 2 sweet potatoes. They said organic, and they're just from the grocery store. So, and they're purple sweet potatoes. So we want to give those a try and see what they're like. That's that mini bell tomato I said that's been in here forever. Here's the avocado tree we've had for a year and a half now. And it comes up to my chest, and I am 6 foot tall, so it is probably, take that bucket length off of it, it's probably at least 4 foot tall, maybe 4.5. And this is our lemon tree. We've had this for several years, our lemon trees. Producing tons and tons of new growth. This one will be out in the yard as soon as, these 2 trees will be out in the yard, and probably up potted as soon as it gets warm enough. Toothache plant, and gotten 30 or 40 bulbs off of it. The leaves are edible too and usable just like that. Some people call it the medicine plant or the electric daisy. Really, really unique, really, really fun grow. Grows strong. Those right there will make your entire mouth numb. If you chew on the leaves a little bit, it'll make it numb as well, but not as bad. People, when they eat it, they usually throw just a couple in a salad to give it a little bit of flavor or spiciness to it, kind of. And otherwise, they throw them into dishes and cook it up a little bit so that it doesn't have that strong numbing agent to it. And it has a piece of ginger growing in it. And there is the cinnamon basil. We're letting that seed up so we can collect a bunch of seeds. Got tons of basil in this season. So this is a little bathroom. I know this video is super long. I'm sorry, you guys. Just haven't chimed in for a minute in a couple weeks and stuff. Have so much going on, and just wanted to show everybody our overcrowded indoor grow stuff. Oh, there's 2 Tamarillo, 2 Manzano peppers, and a Ponderosa lemon. I almost forgot to mention those, but I'll take you to the last bathroom real quick and make this video close up, and we'll catch you in a second. All right, so not as much to show here. Some of the dwarf tomatoes that we're taking down to the local market to give away that today. Today, it's Saturday right now. So, and then house plants. So this is a Dieffenbachia or dumb cane. We might take that down to the market. Somebody will take the house plant down there. I know they like the veggies, but somebody will take that off our hands and give it a better home. It's been in water for about 4 or 5 months, maybe. And it's thriving, so I don't know what's going on. It's even getting some side shoots that are trying up here, down in here. And this is the Hoya. It's another really cool plant. The entire plant's poisonous, but it does produce a flower that's not poisonous, that has this really, really like sweet, sugary nectar to it. So Hoya flowers are really, really kind of sought after for their unique flavor, and the plant itself, though, is actually poisonous. So a really, really cool plant. I don't know if you can see that, really strong leaves. But that's a Hoya. Those are those dwarf tomatoes. This is some more Hoya clippings. That came off of, or not Hoya clippings, Dieffenbachia clippings. Here's our spider plant. It's got tons of shoots coming off on the sides here and stuff. And then here's the Dieffenbachia that we've had. This is the longest plant we've owned in this house. So 7 years. I know that these ones need trimmed off. I trimmed the other ones off, and then these ones are starting a little bit too, but it's just well overgrown. And that is the ceiling-ish. It comes down a little bit. I'd like to see one of these flower, and that's what we're trying to push for. This plant, the Dieffenbachia, the Hoya, and the spider plant. If you're trying to grow an easy indoor grow, those are the three to grow. This one will just keep off putting off shoots. I can clip this little piece right here, drop it in a little glass of water, and it'll start rooting out and create a whole new plant. This is actually one of the sprouts from a giant one that's had to have produced 50 to 100 spider plants off of it over the past few years. And this is just one of those shoots, and it's actually separated itself a couple times in that pot and is also putting off a ton more that have been clipped and needed to give away. So the spider plant's super easy indoor grow. The Hoya, we've just left this. You almost don't want to water it too much. So like leaving it underwatered and dried out for several days is almost helps it thrive. And then when you hit it with a little bit of water, man, it just takes off. This little piece right here keeps going back and forth almost with time of day. So since it's so early in the day, this is off to the side, and I'm not sure about that whole thing, but. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, the Dieffenbachia. All those could be new plants. And those just come up because I took these ones off. Several more will actually come from the cane itself too. It's really sturdy, it's not propped up. Like there's a whole nother plant right there. So this one almost loves being neglected. If you neglect it, it kind of just stays stagnant, and if you try to take care of it, it tries to overwhelm you. So we had clipped some leaves off before. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to clip from the base because I worry about the sickness getting to it, or if I'm going to clip up top and let it die off like this so that it makes sure that it don't get the plant sick. But that's the Dieffenbachia, really, really beautiful leaves. So sorry for another long video, you guys. There's a guy, it's not important who the quote came from, but I just want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. There's a video game creative director for a company called Bethesda Softworks. His name's Todd Howard, and I just wanted to give credit for it. It's not about who it is that said it, but his quote was, great games are played, not made. And so that's our theory over here, rocking and rolling straight into May, ready to grow with everybody. To us, great videos are played, not made. It's not the videos that we're making that we're excited to see. We see this stuff all the time. We're putting in the work. We're excited to grow with everybody this year, but we're really excited to see what you guys are doing too. So it adds momentum and it adds strength to us and stuff. And the great videos that we're watching are the best videos we've seen. And even if we don't put videos out as often or we're a little bit slow in our comments and stuff like that, like that's what we're all about. We're all about hanging out with you guys, having fun, seeing some unique things this year, facing challenges together, and just loving the grow season. So UT Angel and Kiddo, it is April 30th, the last of the Fool's Month of 2022, and we'll catch you next time. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.